His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki, Grantaraj Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki, Sri Panchatattva Ki, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki, Sri Gopurnima Mahotsava Ki, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to all the devotees of Lord Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone again to our fourth evening of Gaurikatha. Some lessons from the pastimes of Lord Caitanya. So, on the first night, that was Friday, we talked about how Lord Krishna, before hundreds, thousands of years before, how he showed that he was going to appear as Lord Caitanya. There were three nice stories. Then, on Monday, Monday was the actual appearance of Lord Caitanya. Then last night was some early childhood pastimes of Lord Caitanya. And tonight, devotees and friends, we are going to talk about Lord Caitanya, his student days, when he was studying, and he did all sorts of interesting and sometimes mischievous things. So let's see how it goes, but that's the plan. So first of all, though, please repeat after me. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachadesha Tarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchikalpatarubhyas cha kripas sindhubhya evacha, Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, devotees, so Lord Chaitanya's student days. Excuse me, it's okay, well I hope it is. Right, Lord Chaitanya's student days. Well, I don't know. Anyway, just, oops, bear with me momentarily. Oops, try to avoid too much of the, just do what?
Just wonderful.
Okay, all right. So here we go, devotees. Lord Chaitanya, his pastimes, some of his pastimes, in his student days. And like we said, he was sometimes mischievous. Or you could say one way of putting it was, sometimes he was not mischievous. Yes. It was sort of like that. So, every day, Nimai, Lord Chaitanya, he would bathe after school. He was going to school. After school, he would go with his friends and they would bathe in the Ganges. And it was, sort of late-ish afternoon type of time. And lots of people would be there bathing in the Ganges. So many people would be there. But Lord Chaitanya, as usual, was mischievous. So the people would try to tolerate, because Lord Chaitanya Nimai, he was the son of well-known Brahmin Jagannath Mishra. He was very respected and well-known in the community there in Navadvip. So they would try to just tolerate and put up with different things he would do, which we'll mention in a moment. But one day, it just got too much. And so a whole lot of them went marching up to the house of Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi to really make a complaint. So they arrived there. And they complained that because of your son, today and other days, but just today, one devotee said, I was trying to chant Gayatri in the Ganges, standing up to my chest in the water, which is a traditional way of doing it. And you know what happened? He came swimming along under the water. I couldn't see him. and he pulled my feet out. And I was under the water. And it just interrupted my Gayatri. It's an aparad. It's not good at all. And then he came up out of the water, and he, in a very arrogant way, he said, "Who are you meditating on?" Yeah, I am Lord Narayan myself. I'm the person you meditate on, so just meditate on me. And the fellow, this is just too much aparad, I can't deal with it. Someone else said that when I'm chanting Gayatri, he comes and splashes me with water, and splashes, and I lose track of my Gayatri mantras. I don't know if that's happened to any of you who have second initiation. Somehow you get distracted and you forget which mantra you're on. But that's what happened to this person. Another one said, "I left my clothes on the bank." He stole them. I came out. I just had my wet gamcha, and I didn't know what to do. Someone else said, "I had a Shiva linga on the bank. I was bathing. He stole it." Someone else said, "He stole my Bhagavad Gita." Someone said, "I had a nice little altar with a shalagram shila, and I was preparing to do a little puja there, and I brought flowers and some sweets, sandalwood based, and I was going to chant my mantras and do the puja and offer these things, and your son came and pushed the shalagram shila aside and sat on the throne himself and picked up the sweets and ate them all and said, "Thank you for the offering." Yes. So, yes. And then he got up and ran away. And then he came back and he said, why are you upset? The person you are worshipping has eaten your offering. Oh my gosh. It's terrible. Another one said, because of him I couldn't find my dhoti in my basket of flowers. Another one said, he put water in the ears of my little son and made him cry. Another one said, he came up behind me, jumped on my shoulders, shouting, "I am Shiva! I am Shiva!" and ran away. Another one said that he threw, I finished bathing, he came and threw sand all over me. Another one said, oh, I had a nice bath in the Ganges, and he came and spat on me. So they're telling Jagannath Mishra that, we've had enough. You got to do, he does this every day. He did it today. You have to take the matter in hand. Then, devotees, listen to this. Some of the girls, young girls like teenage, sort of that type of age, approached Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi and said, you know what he does? He steals our clothes. And we are bathing in the ladies section further up the river. Sometimes he exchanges our clothes for the men's clothes, and what chaos he creates. It's too much. Then one girl said, he sneaks up on me in the water and shouts in my ear. Another girl said, he spat water in my face. Another girl said, he came up to me and said he wants to marry me. And every day he acts like this, and today also. Then he says, what can you do about me? I am Nimai. I am the king's son. Yes. So you must stop him. You must stop him. No one likes the way he acts. So Jagannath Mishra became so angry. He picked up a stick and said, don't worry, I'm coming with you back down to the river right now. I'll catch him. I will beat him in front of you. And off he went, leaving Mother Sachi at home. And of course, Lord Caitanya, Nimai, was down there at the river, but now he told his friends, when my father comes, tell him I have not been here. I have not bathed yet. Tell him I stayed late at school doing some extra schoolwork, and then I'm going straight home, and then I will come down and bathe. Just tell him that. So his friends were ready. Then came Jagannath Mishra storming down to the beach with a stick in his hand, and he saw Nimai's friends. Of course, he knew Nimai's friends, and he said, where is he? Where is that son of mine? I'm going to beat him. And the boy said, oh, he hasn't been here yet today. He's at school doing some extra studying because he wants to really do well at school. And Jagannath Mishra was bewildered. You mean he hasn't been here? No. But I heard all these reports. The boy said, they're all lies. These people are liars. So Jagannath Mishra, bewildered, slowly made his way back home. In the meantime, Nimai, wearing the same clothes he had worn at school, with dust on his body, with spots of ink on his clothes and on his body and on his forehead. So, he obviously hasn't been bathing. He arrived at home, and Mother Sachi saw him and couldn't believe it. I heard you were at the river. No, not today. I am trying to study extra well. So I have just come from school. I stayed late. I did some extra lessons. And look at me, you can see, I haven't bathed. Yeah, look, I've still got ink here and there over me. So, then Jagannath Mishra arrived and saw his son, who obviously had not bathed, and he became extra confused and bewildered and told Nimai but these people, this is what they say. And Nimai said, look, you can see I haven't bathed. The thing is, these people are all liars. They're meant to be Brahmins, but they are liars. So Jagannath Mishra, then Lord Caitanya said to Mother Sachi, please give me my oil, my bathing oil, and my gamcha, and so on, my things for bathing, and I will go down and join my friends and bathe. And off he went, leaving them just bewildered. And Jagannath Mishra said, I cannot understand. I think maybe this child is actually the Supreme Lord. I can't, he bewilders me too much. So, yes. And Nimai told them, if these people, told Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi, if these people continue to do their mischief and accuse me, then I'll really create a disturbance. Just wait. So anyway, one day, when Lord Caitanya, when Nimai was on his way back home from school, he and his friends, they're just walking along, and they saw a little group of 3 or 4 little puppies, just sort of puppying around, doing whatever they do, whatever puppies do. And the boys, each one grabbed one of the puppies, and Nimai grabbed one of the puppies and said, oh, I'm taking this puppy home. Oh, he's so beautiful. And he was kissing him and embracing him and all like that. And he arrived at home with this puppy. And Mother Sachi said, what are you doing with that dog? Don't you know dogs are dirty? Permanently dirty. And if you've got dogs at home, just bear that in mind, because it's true. They are permanently dirty, and they've got very little sense of clean and unclean. But Nimai said, no, he's a nice puppy. He's my puppy. And kissed him. And Mother Sachi said, put him outside and take a bath. You got to take a bath. Actually, I remember, I can tell you a little story. Ramanujacharya Prabhu, many of you would know him. He's from Durban. We were raising funds for building the Radharanath temple in the sort of early to mid, it was like 82, 83 through to 85. We were raising funds for building the temple, and we were, would you believe, selling paintings. So one day and night, we were in Freiburg. You know where that is? It's a real Ecta Africana place out in the sticks, in the west. So we were there, and we met the mayor, would you believe? And he invited us to come to his home in the evening to show him some paintings with his wife. So we came along, me and Ramanujacharya Prabhu, and we showed them the paintings. I'm sure they took some paintings. And then they had a dog. And the dog, so we're sitting down talking to them. The dog came and jumped on Ramanujacharya Prabhu's lap and then jumped off. And Ramanujacharya Prabhu said, could I wash my hands? I touched your dog. I don't know if you get that. For people like that. It's like dog aparad. Yeah. They never thought that you have to wash after touching a dog. So Nehemiah said, he's a nice dog, and kissed him. And Mother Sachi got so angry, really angry, and told him, listen, just keep the dog out of the house. Don't let him in. And Nehemiah said, no, he's my dog. He's coming in the house, and he'll be in my room. And Mother Sachi couldn't do anything about it. So anyway, the next day, Nehemiah said, he's on his way to school, he said, you must feed my puppy. And Mother Sachi said, he's your puppy, you feed him. Then off went little Nehemiah. And you know what Mother Sachi did? She took the dog away, really away, to the other side of town, and just left the little puppy there. And in the afternoon, Nehemiah came back and said, where's my puppy? Where's my puppy? Where's my puppy? And Mother Sachi said, I don't know, he's your puppy, you tell me where he is. And he looked and looked, but there was no puppy. And poor little Nehemiah was really upset. Really upset. But you know what happened, devotees and friends? That puppy, due to the contact with Lord Caitanya, that puppy became a God-intoxicated puppy. In the center of Navadweep, this dog was running and jumping and having one dog kirtans and chanting, Krishna, Krishna, Radha Govinda. And people gathered, they couldn't believe it. He's running up and down, and then on his rear legs and front legs up, and Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda. They couldn't believe it, completely couldn't believe it. A couple of days later, he left his body in the middle of the kirtan. And you know what? A transcendental airplane came from Goloka Vrindavan in front of everyone and picked him up and took him away. So there you go. And any of you who have got dogs at home, don't worry about it too much, because you know what? Krishna has a dog. He has a pet dog in Goloka Vrindavan. I forget his name. What's his name? Brahma Rata? Raka. Brahma Raka. Okay. Brahma Raka ki jai. Yes, so Nimai Pandit, a real character. Yes. So now, you know what happened one day? One day, Lord Chaitanya's older brother, Vishvarup, he's some years older, I'm not sure how many, but some years older. Like he's probably well into his teens. And he was very serious devotee. He would associate with Advaita Acharya, who was living nearby, just a couple of 100 meters away, actually. And after school, he would immediately just go off and spend time with Advaita Acharya. And Mother Sachi particularly, and Jagannath Mishra, but particularly Mother Sachi was in anxiety. Maybe he's going to become too much of a devotee. Sometimes parents of devotees, sometimes they think, it's good my child's a devotee because he's not doing, certain other things which a lot of the young people do. So it's good, but he mustn't become too much of a devotee. Yes, just got to keep a balance. So she was worried, and sure enough, one day Vishvarup took sannyas and just left, and they never saw him again. And they were upset, particularly Mother Sachi, so extremely upset, and Jagannath Mishra. And Mother Sachi said to Jagannath Mishra, now we have only one son. We have to make sure he doesn't do that. And so they discussed it. And they concluded that Nimai must stop his education. That was the problem. Vishvarupa became over-intelligent, and he was associating with the devotees. So from today on, Nimai cannot go to school. No more school. That's it, finished. So they told Nimai, and I mean, if he was something like me when, at that age, I would have been really happy. I didn't enjoy school. Gosh. But Nimai was very upset, really upset. I want to go to school. I want to learn. It's very important. I'm a Brahmin. I must learn. And Jagannath Mishra was saying this, no more school. And Mother Sachi said, but if he's uneducated, how's he going to earn his livelihood when he gets older? And, because he won't be able to earn. And no one is going to give their daughter to marry a fool, so-called Brahmin. But Jagannath Mishra said, you are an unintelligent daughter of a Brahmin. Yes. Lord Krishna is the creator, maintainer, and destroyer. He protects and maintains all living entities. He's the master of the universe. He maintains the whole universe. So why do you think he will not look after our son? Of course he will. Our son will be all right. A man may be a pundit or a fool. If Lord Krishna writes in a man's destiny that a certain girl will marry him, then that will happen. So you know what happened, don't you? That's what happened. Yes. And anyway, good education, good family, these things, they're less important. The important thing is Krishna maintains everyone. We must have faith. So they agreed, right, let's do it. So then they told, Nimai not going to school. And Nimai at home just getting bored. And then Nimai got up to mischief, doing all sorts of nonsense. He got mixed up with some, like in Chatsworth, where I'm from, some corner boys. You know what I mean? If you have some experience in these things, corner boys, with the caps on. So they would go out at night. They would break things. Yes. They would go and raid the orchards and just steal all the fruit, eat half of it, and just leave the rest. And one night, the Lord and two other boys covered themselves in a blanket so they looked like a bull. And so they went running through an orchard, and the owner, thinking it is a bull, came out screaming, and the boys ran away. Sometimes they would lock people's doors from the inside. And they didn't have keys, just like latches. And the people would be stuck. The people couldn't leave the houses even to pass stool or urine. So like this, every day Nehemiah was just involved in mischief. Night, morning, noon, and night. So one day, the Lord, Nehemiah, well, the practice was in those days, they used ceramic pots, but not like really strongly fired, just one use. They can be used once, but that's it, then they're thrown away. So there was a pile of these pots behind their house. One day, Nehemiah climbed the pot, the pile of pots, and sat there. So Mother Sachi came and said that this is not the right place to sit. Anyone who touches rejected pots has to bathe, go and take a bath. Don't you understand this? Don't you know this? And Nehemiah replied, you don't allow me to study. How do you expect me to know this? Yeah. How will an uneducated Brahmin like me know what's right and wrong? Then he said, to me, everything's one. This is not the same pastime you remember from last night. It's different. It's a bit later. Yeah. So these pots, what's wrong with these pots? They're nice. You use them to cook for Lord Krishna. So how can they be contaminated? Yes. And then he said, would you believe, no place where I sit is ever contaminated. She didn't get it. Yeah. And if you don't allow me to study, I am not coming down. I'm staying here on top of these pots. So then, Jagannath Mishra came home. He couldn't convince Nehemiah. Then the neighbors came. And one neighbor said, for me, it's such a struggle getting my son to go to school. Your son wants to go to school. You're really fortunate. You should let him go. And he told Nehemiah, if from today you're not allowed to study, then you should do as much mischief as you wish. Yeah, so anyway, then Jagannath Mishra, Mother Sachi, they agreed, all right, you can study again. Yes. So, but everyone was so astonished with Nehemiah. Sometimes they would say to Jagannath Mishra, this boy is not a resident of the material world. Carefully protect him with all your heart. So then, by his father's order, Nehemiah happily resumed his studies. Now, as Lord Caitanya, still studying, but he's getting a little bit older. Little bit. He became a student of Sanskrit, a grammar, and poetry, and like on a very sophisticated level, Sanskrit. At this point, Nimai, Lord Caitanya, has not started showing that he's the Supreme Lord. And in fact, at this stage of his education, at this stage, he became a very arrogant scholar of Sanskrit and super expert and very arrogant. And he would challenge the other boys to debates and defeat them. They'd some topic would be selected. One boy would take one side, and the other one would take, the other one would take the other side. Nimai would defeat them. Then he would tell them, all right, look, I will take the side you had. You take the side I was on. Let's debate. And Nimai would defeat him completely. Defeat his own arguments, which had defeated the other boys' arguments before, and just completely defeat him. It was really amazing. And he would defeat his teachers. And sometimes, because some of the boys, some of his school friends, were really good devotees, like Gadadhar Pandit from Panchatattva. He was a really serious devotee. And Mukunda Dutt, the singer, he was very serious devotee. So from time to time, they tried to preach to Nimai that, come on, your brother, he would chant with us. Why don't you come and chant with us? And Nimai would say, no way. You're not going to see me jumping up and down Hari Bol like you guys. Forget it. I got more important things to do, like Sanskrit grammar. So, as it happened, Mukunda, the singer, he was actually very good at grammar, Sanskrit. He was very good. So Nimai would challenge him like every day and defeat him and mock him. That, I thought you knew something about Sanskrit. Ha, ha, ha. So it got a bit much from Mukunda. So one day, Mukunda and a couple of boys were going down to bathe in the Ganges, when who should they see but Nimai and another boy, Govinda, coming their way. They immediately took a detour, turned off the road and went. And Govinda asked Nimai, why do you think they did that? Why did they run away when they saw you? And Govinda said, well, maybe he had some task to do. But the Lord said, I know why he fled. It's because he doesn't like to talk about material things. He always studies the Vaishnava scriptures. I only talk about logic and grammar, declensions, like that. So, that's why he runs away. So then they found Mukunda. They found Mukunda. And the Lord said to Mukunda, how long are you going to do like this? How long are you going to do like this? Where are you going to run? You're not going to be able to escape me, so stop trying. And then Mukunda's there just looking at Nimai, and Mukunda's thinking, where is there a human being as learned as Nimai? I've never found one like him. No one knows literature like him. And he told Nimai, you know, if only you could become a devotee, you'd be a very good devotee. And you can talk philosophy. You can. And defeat people. You can do that. Then I wouldn't leave your company for a moment. And Lord Caitanya, Nimai, looked at him and laughed and said, just wait and see. After some days, you'll see on me the marks of a Vaishnava. I am going to become a Vaishnava. I'll become such a Vaishnava. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva will come to see me and offer obeisances to me. And Mukunda's thinking, oh no. I thought things were improving. And Nimai said, just wait and see. I will become the best of the Vaishnavas. You will never have seen a devotee like me, ever. Those who are running away from me now will chant my glories as a Vaishnava. And sure enough, not long after, he he started manifesting himself as a devotee. So, devotees, one day, now Nimai is still not revealing himself, but he's a little older. He's still at school though. And Murari Gupta, the doctor and devotee, great devotee, was walking along the street with a friend, and Murari Gupta was explaining about mystic yoga to this other person. And so Nimai came and approached him and asked, what are you talking about? And Murari tried to explain, the philosophy, kind of impersonal philosophy. And Nimai and his friends mocked him and laughed at him. And seeing this, Murari became a bit angry because he's older generation. Said, I thought you're the son of Jagannath Mishra. You're from a very good family. I thought you were a well-behaved boy. Yeah. So then Nimai, knitting his eyebrows, said, when you take your lunch today, I'm going to teach you something. Yes. Anyway, Murari thought, what does this mean? But then he carried on and he sort of forgot about it. Then he sat down to have lunch. He had his nice plate of prasadam there in front of him. He's just about to start, dive in, when suddenly Lord Caitanya appeared in front of him, opulently dressed with jewelry and turban and gems and gold, opulent garments, string of tulsi beads around his neck, another string of great pearls. Around his eyes was black kajal. His body was decorated with glistening golden ornaments, anklets on his feet. He walked in, and here's Murari now. He's already started his lunch, and the Lord just walked in and just stood right in front of him and said, Murari, Murari. And Murari looked up and said, what do you want? What are you doing? What are you doing? And the Lord said, don't be frightened. It's just me. Continue with your lunch. So Murari's eating. Slowly, Nimai came right up in front of him. And devotees, fasten your seatbelts. You're all sitting down, that's good. Yeah. Suddenly, Lord Gora urinated on the plate, filling the plate with urine. And Murari jumped up. What are you doing? What are you doing? And Nimai said, you deviated from the path of bhakti, waving your hands, moving your head. You were just talking about mystical yoga. Give up your karma and jnana. With all your heart, just worship Lord Krishna. Yes. Become learned in the nectar of devotional service. Yes. So, Lord Krishna is supremely merciful. Yes. Just surrender to him. Why don't you dedicate your life to worshipping him? Murari's speechless, looking at Lord Gauranga, looking at his, whatever, there. Suddenly he looked up again. Nimai had vanished. He didn't just quickly go. He just wasn't there any longer. And Murari understood. This was before Lord Caitanya started really revealing himself. He understood. He is the Supreme Lord. He is the Supreme Lord. This is amazing. I can't believe it. He's revealed himself to me. And he went running over to Lord Chaitanya's house. And it's like about, not it's like 400-500 meters from Murari's house to Lord Chaitanya's birthplace. It's not far. So he went running over, racing over there. Came running in, and what did he see? Little Lord Gauranga, dressed up as a little schoolboy, sitting on his mother's lap, being embraced by his mother and petted and all that sort of thing. And Murari came running in, and he wanted to, he offered his obeisances to Lord Caitanya. And Lord Caitanya said, oh, Murari Gupta, and offered his obeisances to him. So, and then he climbed back on his mother's lap and said, we are so honored that you've come to visit us. Yeah. And Murari was bewildered. Murari was bewildered. Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi were kissing the cheeks of Lord Caitanya. So, and Jagannath Mishra said, did our boy offend you? Let whatever is destined to happen to us happen, but let only good fall on our son. Please say, may he live long and bless our son. So Murari said, actually, your son is the master of the masters of the demigods. But it didn't register. So then he left. So these are some things which happened when Lord Caitanya was at school. You know, there of course there's lots of other things, but these are some things. And tomorrow we'll talk about his pastimes when he began the Sankirtan movement. Hare Krishna. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ke, Shri Gopurnima Mahotsava ke, Srila Prabhupada ke, Gaur Premanande.